done that, we're going to get into who we are, what we do, our programs, what we're here for, and how to get involved with us, how do you stay in touch. So I'm going to call up Judy, our managing director. She's going to introduce the UofT network and give you a little bit of an idea of what this space really is and what we accomplish.
Great. Hi. Wow. Good crowd. Thanks very much for coming. And Khadija, thanks for getting things going, and thanks for giving me to tell you about the Mobility Network. So a couple of big words, a couple of terms to introduce here. So Mobility Network is an institutional strategic initiative at the University of Toronto. And why is that important? It was important to us. Why is that important? Because it means the University of Toronto recognized the movement of people and goods equitably and sustainably as a global challenge that could only be addressed with interdisciplinary research. So this was really quite an achievement 2.5 years ago to work up those high levels at the University of Toronto, persuading them to believe, as we all fervently do, that the sustainable, equitable movement of people and goods is a global challenge. And we know that's true in our region, and we know that's true in our country, and we know it's probably true as we look around the room from all kinds of places all over the world that we have our experiences in, that we bring to this place, right? Our experiences. So we managed to get UT also to realize that up there with all the greatness that it's UofT, data sciences and medicine, and all those wonderful things that they're known for, that also mobility is a really, really precious issue, right? So then we just find words, we talk about doing that, what we're going to do, well, all that remains to be seen. A little bit apart from what we do is what we do through development of the great talent we have in the room with our graduate students, undergraduate students, and research associates, postdoctoral fellows. So that's kind of the purpose of this talk, but let me, Khadija's leading, but she's given me an opportunity to tell you just a little bit more about Mobility Network. So what do we say? We say that transportation systems are the circulatory systems of society. They connect us to just about everything that we want to do and need to do. Everybody took some steps, maybe literally, to get here today. And when you leave here, you'll go somewhere else to do something else that's important to you. Everybody else that you were out there on the street with was going about their business and their lives. And has transportation systems that are the infrastructure to get people there. And that how they, where do they need to go? Why do they want to go there? That's understanding their demand. How do they get there? Who gets served? All these are big questions that we're working on at the University of Toronto to achieve our mission and vision. Of course, UofT gave us this opportunity because they want us to make them more famous, and we're going to work at doing that. And we hope to achieve our vision by actually making a difference, by informing policy in our, the people who make the decisions about how things will be, because transportation all happens out there in what we call the public realm. It happens out there. And the decisions about how that happens relate to our decision makers at our local government levels, in municipalities, in regions, at the province, and federally, right? But we hope to inform them as they make these decisions. We hope that your research is going to inform them as they make these decisions, right? So we did this with a bunch of partners. In order to become an institutional strategic initiative, we had to go across the university and sign up partners who said they would step up and support us, and we did. Because again, we brought people around to believing that this was important. So in Scarborough, on the east side of Toronto, we were supported through a program called Suburban Mobilities, and their research in Mississauga, on the other end of the region, by the UT-ITE Mobility Network, and the work that they do now. Obviously, institutional strategic initiatives was the foundation of our support, and then we're housed in civil engineering presently. So we do leverage up all the support we get from civil engineering. As an example here, civil engineering has a distinguished lecture, which we leverage up into a large public lecture, like the one we had last year. The Dean Strategic Fund in engineering supports us as well, research that we have. And our full title, our great big long title, is Mobility Network at the School of Cities. Right? Because obviously, we say that transportation mobility isn't everything about our lives in cities, but it's almost everything. So they do some other things, but we are their mobility focus. And this is our network. This is like, actually, this is a picture of our network we took 2 years ago and made up. But when we put up the call across the University of Toronto, about 60 or more faculty put up their hands from across different campuses and divisions to say, yes, my research is something about mobility. From some perspective, whether it's policy, whether it's equity, whether it's decarbonizing transportation, whether it's land use and transportation, what can we do with smart mobility? A lot of people put up their hand and said, yes, that's all of what I do or some of what I do, which was a very strong part of our story, obviously. But it's a lot of knowledge, a lot of kinds of people around the University of Toronto. So we workshopped it and came up with the idea of knowledge clusters. They've been called research clusters, called many different things in many different places. And so we found that these people can be organized, not necessarily in just one place, but maybe in a couple of knowledge clusters, and they all overlap. But working on urban equality and inclusion, climate change and health, mobility, technologies and services, moving goods, land use, and behavioral analysis. Why do people travel anything, and how do they travel? And each of these knowledge clusters is anchored by a big research project. And there are many more. And you could probably put up your hands and tell me that you know about a research center and you know about a research project that isn't listed here. Because there are so many. There are so many. So we just took some samples here to put in of the research projects that we have, but there are so many. And we definitely, we exist to pull that together and make it known to the world. Right? Of all the great work that's going on here and that I mentioned in this summit. And over the course of this time, we built a lot of external partnerships. Our research is supported by the granting agencies, but in partnership with a large number of private sector companies and public sectors like the regions and the cities and the province. And we like doing this because we like to see, as I said, where does transportation mobility happen out there in the world? And by working with the industry partners who create solutions and the government partners who implement them, we bring them into our research to work together with them and co-create these solutions. So we're pretty good partners, and we're pretty good at partner research. And we did a lot of activities last year. This is a messy slide. It's a messy slide because we did a mess of activities. So across the top, what Khadija has put in here is some of those that are focused more on students and postdoctoral fellows. So she will also be launching postdoctoral community of practice, started last year. She mentioned summer school and the Emerging Mobility Scholars Conference that we held last June. And just last night in this room, we had the student competition run by our alumni network on new frontiers in transportation. And then at the bottom is we have talks and workshops and what we call research days and the panel series called The Way Forward. So we kept busy through the year, and you will be invited to these things as either broadly, very inclusively, or perhaps because your own research is a goods movement and you're going to be at the COO or Smart Freight Center Research Days. So who does this? Briefly, so that's me. I'm Judy Farvolen. I'm the Managing Director of Mobility Network, previously the Transportation Research Institute. And Eric, who can't be here today, is our director. And Eric and I have been at this for about 10 years. Just trying to make it real, and very, very happy to say that we've been having success. We are supported by, I said, we have partners across divisions and campuses. So out in Scarborough, it's Steve Farber, and in Mississauga, it's Sean Rail. And I want to mention here that each of our knowledge clusters is led by, a leading researcher in that field. Somebody you surely know, right? And then, thank goodness, is our staff who really makes all this happen is our staff. So I think I'm looking at Khadija and saying that she may have started about exactly a year ago.
Yeah, a year ago, I think it's this week.
Yeah, well, exactly a year ago. So that's been great news because among the actions we said we would take to take us to great outcomes was, doing things to enrich the experience of graduate students, postdoctoral fellows, research staff happier, beyond the great research you're going to do in your research groups and with your supervisors, but the other things that we can do together. And then Jazz joined us in May, April, May, in time to help us wrap up our busy year end. And now she helps us with the reporting that we have to do that comes part of being an institutional strategic initiative. Right? So I'm going to leave it there. We can talk about anything you want afterwards, but let Khadija get to talking about what we came here for.
All right, great. Thanks so much. So I hope that was a good overview of who we are and what we do. And now when we say Mobility Network, you don't look as confused as you did at the beginning. And maybe if you were to redo that Kahoot, you'd answer with more confidence. Some smiles. Okay. So for the next Mobility Leaders Program, what is it? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? I'll get into all of that. So over at Mobility Network, we already do a lot of things, as Judy mentioned. We have scholarships and awards, like in 2022 and 2023, we had the Rothschild Fellowship, we have UT-ITE Grad Student Awards, and we're looking at offering up a 3-minute thesis competition for next year, but I'll get into that. We also have completed training workshops, we're at conference prep, so when you were at that last year, we're looking at introducing writing an op-ed, using Canva and other tools and skills. We have several events that we've offered up, networking events, conferences, summer schools, research days, symposiums, and we've also held community and practice sessions for our postdoctoral fellows and research associates. This all happened in the span of last year and activities before. Now after COVID, and since I've been with the team, we've been trying to brand this in a way where it's an actual program and our activities come together cohesively to serve some sort of purpose for the students and the postdocs and RAs that are in our scheme. And that is what we're in the next Mobility Leaders Program, and that's why we're here really, is to offer up this program in an exclusive way for you to not only have access to the information, but also be intrigued to be involved because you're already in the space and working within it with your supervisors and in your research in some form already. So what's the aim here? The aim is to provide an interdisciplinary training and mentorship experience for undergrad, grad, and postdoctoral fellows and research staff. Through collaboration with the 6 knowledge clusters that Judy mentioned, our trainees will have the opportunity to hone their research and collaborating skills by participating in workshops, an annual summer school, conferences, networking sessions, and mobility-centric community of practice. Now, as grad students, you actually got a lot of access to different types of professional development workshops and skills across the university. As you probably know, the School of Graduate Studies, which you're affiliated with, offers many professional development items. They're probably in your inbox all the time. When I was a grad student here, every other email would be from them, and I'd skim and I'd delete. Now, what's the difference here is because we're actually mobility-centric, meaning what we do is related to what you're already doing, and if not related already, it's here to enhance your graduate experience. So our symposiums, our research conferences, anything that we do, including our summer school, really is here for you. We have funding available in terms of scholarships and fellowships that we want for our students, and we don't actually advertise to the rest of the university. We keep it within our scheme. So because we're targeting specifically those that are in the room, we'd like you to be aware of what's going on in our space and with those who are involved with us. So that's part of what sets us apart. Our training, including our conference prep workshops, aren't just for any type of conference. They are for the conferences that our qualified professionals go to, including TRB, AAG. There are a couple other conferences that happened last year. I believe there was one in the summer that happened here, CRTC. I'm probably getting the acronyms wrong because I'm not an engineer, but we do provide the training for these conferences specifically, whether they're posters or presentations. I'll get into that a little bit more. We also will be providing training for creating a social media presence. We did ask around last year, after I got to know a couple of students and postdocs in the space, on what is important for you once you leave UofT as someone who was part of the mobility space here. What is something that you are happy to leave with? It's having great skills, of course, that you're learning through your technical and soft skills through your studies and through other things that you're doing, but also having a good social media presence as someone who has gone through graduate school or any other research training. This is becoming more important today, now than ever, and faculty, the professors here actually agree. So we'll get into that a little bit more as well. Mentoring is also something that sets us apart. part because of our alumni, our UTAN, as Judy mentioned yesterday, they hosted a student competition, but they also offered up and hosted alumni nights in the past, which we would like to extend invitations to the students in our space as well. So it happened last year, we didn't really have the reach that we do now, but all of these events are underway and really already undertaken. We'd just like to increase our scope and get you to the reach that you can reach with our alumni. Now, professional development is undertaken by us through our community practice. Our research days and symposiums with our partners such as FLU, TAL, and CAPS, they all host, and we do supplement and help. And again, these are all for you and for increasing the knowledge share that's happening within our schools. So what do we have lined up for this year? Because I keep talking about things that we did, things that we've done, but what are we actually undertaking? So quite a few things. So in this month, of course, we've got UofT that's happening today. We've also have our community practice sessions scheduled for next week, being the first one, where we'll sort of get some direction for what we're doing in the year. In October, we're going to have our second community practice session. We're going to have an industry evening in collaboration with UTAN, our alumni network. And hope there is that they'll be bringing in someone from the industry to do a casual evening chat about what they do, where they went after they were in a position like yours, either a graduate or postdoc position, and what they're currently doing and working towards. So again, a very casual sort of evening to learn from people that have been in a position, who maybe be in senior positions now. And then we've got our first conference workshop scheduled for October, and I'll get into that as well. In November, we've got our third community practice session, another industry evening, another conference workshop. December, we slow it down because we know everyone's really busy and loves their vacation with the final community practice session for the year and the final conference workshop for the year as well. And then looking into next year, as we continue, you'll see in January when we kick off our 3-minute thesis competition where details are to follow. We'll have workshops for that and the award ceremony in April. So we do have opportunity here for some of you to earn some money and cash with us in different capacities, whether scholarships or fellowships, and all of that information will come to you directly. And then in May and June, just as we did this year, next year we will have an annual summer school and an annual conference, and we'll also have our annual mobility month where we have a plethora of events across all the campuses to get everyone involved in our So when I was speaking about conference presentations, what was I talking about? What's the workshopping regarding? Is it important? Should I be there? Should you be there? Yes, because most of your professors think that this is a skill that's needed within our space specifically. What will we be doing during the workshop? So in the first workshop, we decided that we should go over the skills that are needed to create an excellent conference poster or presentation. Now, what does that look like? When you're creating poster presentations for conferences, there are skills that you need to know, whether they're in Word or in Canva, which is up and coming. Or PowerPoint. There are certain tricks, tips, and themes that you should know in order to deliver. And we also have feedback from people who have been to conferences and been in workshops that are great tips to apply. So we'll be doing that in the first one. In the second session, we'll actually help you draft the content because by then, especially for TRB, you'll know if you've been accepted. And we will to draft the content for your poster, see how it's best aesthetically pleasing, and also deliver your message in a coherent and cohesive way. And then our third workshop will be obtaining feedback. So we did this last year as well, and I see some familiar faces in the room, where you come in with your almost final draft, and you get some feedback from some of our postdocs and faculty, and then you see where you can make it better. And then after that, you're off, and you're presenting, and you're telling us how well you did, and we're hearing about it from others. So that's for that. Other than that, scholarship opportunities with Mobility Network. Right now, we've got the UTM applications are open for the Grad Research Awards. There are different criteria for each of the scholarship opportunities that we've had. Out at UTM, you must be supervised by a UT Mississauga faculty member. All of the details are on our website, but UTM actually has 3 cycles of awards throughout the academic year, so we're in their first one right now. Over at UTSC, we've got the Scarborough Greenway Network, where our research associates employed based off of money that they get to do specific projects. So Andreas Lawrence Network was working on the Greenway Network. And then here we've got the Rothschild Graduate Fellowship in Sustainable Urban Mobility. We do have another round of this starting up again in the new year, so January, February. Details will come to you directly. And then again, that 3-minute competition will also have cash prizes, and that information will come to you directly as well. So all of this, again, is for you. We have the funding available to give to our students, and you're more than happy to do so. So, the Summer School Conference that we had in this past summer, I don't actually see a lot of familiar faces in the room from that, but maybe I'm hoping it's because you didn't know too much about it. So next year, based on this year, we're expecting our reach and scope to be bigger. In 2023, our conference attendees were from all across Canada. We had over 120 attendees and over 80 poster board sessions. So it was a great success, really. It was here in UT-ITE. We had news posts, everyone had pictures taken, LinkedIn went crazy. Unfortunately, we didn't have the scope to keep up with what was going on online. But if you search up our hashtag, which is EMSC 2023, you'll get pages and pages of information and of students raving about how what a great time they had, really, because it was a week of events. Our summer school attendees were mainly from Ontario and Quebec, but there was about 30 of them. They each got one of the water bottles that Roger won. But that was also a great two-day session where students learned with Marianne Hatzopoulou and Daniel Posen about the most up-and-coming themes in urban transportation and issues regarding that. So next year we'll have a new theme, and we'll have new instructors, we'll have a new conference agenda, and I really do hope that I'll see all of you out there and interested in what we're working on. So our students in the news, we do already have a reach with a few of the students in our space. So the students that I do know, Michael's supposed to be here in a little bit. I know he's busy with his TA duties, but he actually was the winner last year of the Rochelle Fellowship, and 5 of you got that right in Kahoot, so some of you knew that, some of you didn't. But it's great. It's actually a two-part, it's paid in 2 parts, and we have this annually for the next 5 years. So we're looking forward to seeing who the next winner will be once the new year starts. We also have a couple of familiar faces in the room who also made the news. So we've got Alia won the Excellence Award in the Canada Safest Employers. Sanjana was in the grad to watch with UT Engineering. Kareem and Sarah won the CAA Awards. And then we have the UTM Award recipients. So whatever you're doing across campus, whether you are getting your research out there, you're winning awards, or whatever you're doing, we're really is on top of that and posting it on your behalf for you. So these posts were actually made by us and our team, highlighting our students. And our hope is that we get your name out there, we get our name out there, and UofT also looks great. The university loves that, we hope you do too. But it really is a great opportunity for you to be affiliated with us and keep us in the loop of what's going on, because you get highlighted in your news posts through our social media and through the department as well. So CivMin loves to highlight any awards that our students are a part of, and we're in direct contact with them all the time regarding our social media and communications from the university. So what's next? I know I've talked a lot and you guys see the lunch in the back, but we have a couple of dates lined up. I don't have registration links out here yet, but some save the dates. So next week, the 28th, is community practice session for the postdocs and RAs in our space. The workshop number 1 for Conference Prep is Friday, October 20th from 11 to 1. Same scheme where we present, we eat, and then we let you go off. Number 2 is Friday, November 10th from 11 to 1, and number 3 on December 1st from 11 to 1 as well. More information, again, to follow. But how do you stay involved, and what do I want from you? I do have an ask today, I'll get to that in a second. So the first step really is to fill our contact form and have a QR code here for easy access. So I'm really hoping that you'll all pull out your phones, which I know you have them from the Kahoot, and scan this barcode and please fill it out so that I have your contact information. So that all of this information that Judy and I especially really spewed at you today is worthwhile, so that I can continue to contact you about what's going on and what's up and how you can stay involved. We do also, I really recommend that you sign up. If there's ever an Eventbrite link, please do register for our events, because that not only helps us know how many people are coming, but if you've got dietary restrictions for food, that's when things like this come in really helpful, and you don't have to play any guessing games. And then our third step here is to follow us on social media. Twitter has turned into X, and we're still learning the ropes, but we are continuing to use it, so please do follow us at UofT Mobility Network. And LinkedIn, we are going to be active again starting this month, so please keep an eye out there. As I said before, our hashtags do have a huge following on LinkedIn, and we're going to dive into that again this year. Right, so please, if you haven't had a chance, fill out this contact form. It'll come to me directly, and I'll be reaching out, and you'll get onto my list. And that's it, really, for me. I know I talk a lot, I can catch a breath, But thank you so much for joining us today, and feel free to grab lunch in the back and socialize. We've got the room until 2 p.m.